For round 8, we will be making the corner leaves. We'll also be making just these little puffs in the centre of the what will become, you know, one straight side. So those two things, we'll just have a look at those, one of each, and so you can happily move on without any problems. Okay, we're ready to go. We've got avocado yarn here. I'm working the original colourway, and I'm going to start by just choosing a stem, and if I fold the petal to the right of it forward, that one little chain there, so between where it's anchored and the stem, that's where I'm going to place my hook and where I'm going to start the round. That's where my repeat starts. So no surprise, we will start by changing our yarn or attaching our yarn in the normal way. So pull up a loop and secure with a chain. That's not counting as our first stitch. We'll make 1 double crochet into that space. Right, so again, a brief reminder, and sorry to keep saying it, but we are working UK terminology here. So where we're going to start with this leaf is on the sort of leftover side, if you like, of the stem. And what I mean by that is you have worked back down a chain, haven't you, and put double crochet into a chain, and that leaves you with a little single yarn at the base of the chain. If I put my hook in there and pull, you'll see it's a single yarn at the bottom, single yarn at the bottom, and those are the spaces that we're going to be working our stitches to create the leaf. We're starting with a double treble, so I'm just going to get that ready by putting the yarn around my hook twice, and then we'll look at where we need to go. We miss the double crochet at the base of the chain, and it's easy to see if that's a double crochet because if you put your hook into it, you'll see there's 2 strands of yarn that go across the hook, and we are looking for the place where there's just 1 strand of yarn going across the hook. So that is there. If you need any help to find that or get space for your hook, turn your hook over so it faces your work and just use it as a pick, and you'll see I've created a little more space for the hook. So I'm actually going to put 2 double treble into that first stitch. That's 1, that's 2. We start with the widest point on these leaves and work up to a narrower point. So we've got some double trebles. Let's go and put 1 treble into the next one, 1/2 into the next one. Just make sure you don't split the yarn. You've only got 1 strand, so you sort of need all of it if you can get it. And 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. I'm whizzing through this a little, but of course you can follow your pattern and the order is explained there. It's more the positioning of the hook that will probably interest you. I'm now at the top of the stem, and I'm going to use my hook to get that slipped or a skipped stitch at the top there, which is just that little loop, and I will make 1 double crochet into there. And we're going to make a picot, but instead of using 3 chain this time, we're going to just use 2. So you're well versed in picots now because you made all of these, but this is slightly different in that it's just 2 chain. All right, and finishing the picot as before into the top of the stitch and the side of the stitch. If you're not sure about picot, whiz back to this round here, which I can't remember what number that was. That was round, what round was that? 6. Whiz back to the video on round 6, and there's lots of tuition on that there. I'm going to work down the other side of the stem now, and we're back into working into the full stitch. So when you put your yarn through, you've got those 2 strands going across the top. All right, and we're reversing the pattern coming down the other side, so going from the smallest to the largest stitches. So there's our doubles, there's a 1/2 treble and 1 treble, and we'll finish up with 2 double treble into that last stitch there, and 2. And when I finish that stitch and pull the petal forward, when my hook is falling there, if I pull that forward, you will see that we're now in a position to be able to anchor this leaf into that first chain chain there. So as long as it's to the right of the double crochet that you put into the back loop, that's exactly where it should be. Don't go beyond that double crochet. We need it anchored there. Okay, so that's our first leaf. Lovely sort of stubby little corner leaf. And any lumps and bumps and sort of, like I've got a bit of a lump here, but that's all going to be taken care of with blocking and with adding to the frame, so don't worry too much. Okay, yes, my nails have changed colour. That is because I've had to come back at the end of this and redo this little section. Apologies for that. But we have created our little leaf and we're now going to work on the puff stitch. So 4 chain, and we're going to skip the next chain that we made on the previous round and the next double crochet and pop a double crochet into the first of the 2 stitches we made between the petals. All right, there's 2 double crochets sitting there, so I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the first of those stitches. And we are now ready to create our puff stitch. Now, if you've not done that before, they are quite simple, but there's just a few steps you need to go through. You'll start by putting your yarn around your hook as if you're going to do a treble, UK terminology, and put your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Okay, don't pull it too tight, let it go where it wants to go, but do nothing yet, we're not finished yet. So yarn around the hook for a second time, go back into that stitch and pull up a loop for the second time. And we'll do that one more time, yarn around the hook, go through into the same stitch and pull up a loop. So we've done that 3 times and we've now got all these loops on the hook. We can now yarn around the hook and pull through all of those loops. And that is our little puff stitch. Okay, we will finish by putting a double crochet into the same stitch, and you will see that when those leaves go back, you've got that little bit of greenery poking through there. All right, so that's the little puff stitch. So we're going to get back to the beginning of our repeat now by doing 4 chain, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and again we will miss this next chain and this next double crochet, and we will pop a double crochet into the chain that's just to the right of that stem, and you will see that we are therefore back to the beginning of the repeat. You can see that it is a very cute little leaf in the corner, and we've got a little bit of the avocado yarn peeping through between the leaves there, so it's really lovely, lovely contrast, and really finishes that into a square really nicely. So I'll finish it up and we'll look at it when I've done, and we'll have a look at the back as well. There we are then, that is the round completed, and you can see we've got the little puffs peeping through in the centres and the stubby little leaves in the corners. So if we look on the back, you can see how we've used the darker green sort of foundation to build onto with the leaves. So it's all going on behind the scenes, but from the front, very elegant, and just seeing what you need to see, which is the green of the leaves. Hopefully that's helped, and we are now ready to move on and build the frame for our motif.